I'm Tracy Pachaki, the owner of Illustrated Designs. My creative team and I work with a lot of small and mid-market businesses that are struggling right now. After 25 years in the industry, I have a lot of information and tips to share about marketing and events, even during difficult times like these. And I've been sharing those on our social media posts. However, I can only share so many tips myself, and because I want to help as many people during this time as I can, and I'm honored to know some incredible leaders and industry experts that also want to help, I've launched this series. It's interviews to help you run your small business during social distancing. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know. My team and I are here to help. But today, I'm excited to speak with Seth Goldstein. Seth is the Principal Creative Director at Goldstein Media, where they specialize in digital marketing, including WordPress, web design and development, search engine optimization, social media marketing, planning and implementation. Take a breath. Email
We do a lot,
marketing,
yeah.
email marketing, digital marketing, and consulting. So, Seth, do you have anything to add, or did I get everything in your introduction?
You got it all. We also do search engine optimization. I'm not sure if you said that, but there was a lot there, so I'm not sure. So.
Sounds good. So, I think a lot of us are going to get a comfort in knowing that we're not alone in what we're feeling and what we're experiencing. So as someone who also works with your clients in marketing, I have a multi-part question for you. And I'd love to hear from you what your clients have been struggling with and how they've needed to adjust with regard to social distancing and possible shutdowns, as well as what advice and tips and resources you might be able to give and share with others who might be in the same or a similar position.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my clients, they range because there's some that are more digital and more online, and they're not, I would say, suffering or being affected quite as much because they can move home and work from home. I mean, it might not be glamorous. I'm in my basement right now, so it's not glamorous. But the idea is that they're not hurting that much yet, but they are seeing the writing on the wall that things will start trickling down. So that what they're doing is they're getting their content marketing squared away. They're starting to share more content and whatnot. Then there's the people that are running cafes and running restaurants, and they're like, they can either do takeout, like beans. I know one of my clients is saying he's selling the beans, and you come by the store and he'll put them on the curb. You pay ahead of time and all that. So there's been some edits for them to do and whatnot. But the idea is, the tip is, don't stop. Don't stop marketing. Don't stop talking. When I say don't stop marketing, I mean don't stop sharing good content. Maybe not sell as much because now it's not really the right time to sell. But if you have a tip on like what you figured out that works for you during this weird time, share it on LinkedIn, share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram. I do a lot of talking on my Instagram accounts where I just share tips as they come to me on the stories. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't understand is that the stories are actually archived, but they're hidden after 24 hours. So you can then make a little collection on the bottom of on your profile of the story. So you can make a COVID-19, unfortunately, or a quarantine story where you can have all your tips in there after they air for 24 hours. So there's a lot of tips out there. But for the business owners out there, don't ignore LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very powerful tool, and it's not just collecting contacts and a Rolodex. I showed my age, a Rolodex. But you want to share your content there. And if you know people, connect to them. If you don't know them, you can go next to their name and hit follow, and then you can get their content without connecting to them, because you really want to know the person at least somewhat before you say, hey, let's be connections. I think that's the term on LinkedIn. There are all different terms. So. Yeah. Or friends, or just be connected on LinkedIn. And that is what you want to do, is you want to follow a bunch of people so that way your feed gets filled out with good content. You then want to share other people's content as well with a little blurb about your take on the content. So.
Yeah. So what my biggest takeaway from what you said is you want to stay top of mind. You want to still be out there, but be a good resource for people, right? You know, share good information as opposed to selling. Now, obviously, if you have a service or a product that can help people right now, feel free to sell. But I think by staying top of mind, you are going to be remembered when things get back to normal day to day, right?
Yeah, people buy from people that they like. People like to
Yeah.
deal with people that they like. And even if you have a business like an HVAC company that, unfortunately they have to go into the houses every once in a while when the heater or the AC breaks, you can say, hey, this time, we're having a quarantine discount, and you can discount your services, a little bit, saying, hey, we know this is a tough time for people. And we know that, having us come out to your house is not ideal. So,
Mhm.
you can also, what they can do is they can talk about their precautions that they do when they go out to the homes. You can say we're in a complete, it's not HVAC suit, it's a hazmat suit. That's the word. We're in a complete hazmat suit, or we are gloved up and, covered from head to toe. Like, talk about that in a blog post, then share it once again to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to where your audience is, and say, hey, we care about your health and, well-being. But if you need us, this is what our precautions are, and share that out, and then, do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I also have seen a lot of companies do is to post to the top of their Facebook page, or, make it very visible on LinkedIn or Instagram. If they're open, if they're working
Mhm.
on restricted hours, just let people know what
Yeah.
your situation is. I know you work with websites. Have you had any instances where people have that changed on their homepage?
Oh my goodness. The first week, we shouldn't be touching my face, but I did wash my hands, so it's
And you're
okay.
home.
I'm home, exactly. But no, a lot of my businesses, like the accounting firm I work for, there was 2 extra pages of resources I put up for them. A pop-up that says, "This is what's going on right now with our company. Please, do XYZ. Hope you all feel better." I mean, I do some work for a pig adoption company out here with little
Oh,
potbelly pigs, and they said visiting hours 7 days a week. Well, we had to take that off the website and say, because of this, we can't invite people back right now, but, like, here's some more pictures of the cute pigs to make you happy, kind of thing.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's been a lot of, like, notices that I've been putting up on sites. Like, I mean, and one of the biggest things is that that's not stuff I can queue up and do later. That's stuff, like, I get it and I do it. It's
Right.
not something that waits.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just keeping people informed, keeping that form of communication open, and knowing that not everybody is going to be picking up the phone. They might go to your website or social media page first to see if you're open,
Mhm,
to see
absolutely.
if, are you doing curbside pickup? Are you selling the coffee beans, even though we can't
Yes.
go into your location right now? So that's great. So,
Yeah, and Google's done something interesting also, is they,
oh,
on Google My Business, they used to have you wait 3 days when you changed your hours. You can now go in and write temporarily closed if you're closed temporarily. And they'll put that up right away so people are aware and not saying, "Wait, I drove out here, risked my life to drive out here, and you're closed."
yeah,
So, and they're also halting reviews, for better or for worse. They're not letting you. They're holding the reviews in queue until a later date. They're not saying when, but when you get a review, it's not showing up because someone might be a little angry because they showed up, and they want you to have a chance to kind of be on top of things. So,
oh, okay. Well, that's great. I did not know that.
yeah.
So I know that your industry, before we went live, you mentioned that you've been staying busy, but after the social distancing restrictions are lifted, what changes, if any, do you think might happen in your industry?
I think a lot more companies are going to go digital, not digital, virtual. And I think that if they don't, there's going to be a lot more hybrid models where people, if you have an agency that you all meet in one place, you may have 2 or 3 days a week where the people can work from wherever they want because they're used to that now. Because I mean, a lot of people, when they started working from home, they're like, what do I do? I'm working from my
Yeah.
kitchen table. And then if you just Google, like, video conferencing fails, you see, people in their towels walking behind a conference call and stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot of funny things that happen because a lot of people didn't work from home, and now I think that a lot of bigger companies are going to say, all right, just stay at home, or we're going to have, more workforce at home. If they're losing 2 or 3 hours to commute from, like, upper northern California, down to San Francisco, they might just say, don't work those hours, come in
Right.
once a week instead. So, and a lot of my agency, were 5 people. We already work remote, but we've tended to move towards co-working spaces in Doylestown where we're all working in close quarters. We might all have to stay home now. It depends.
Have you seen an uptick in companies that typically didn't sell online, adding shopping carts to their website?
Hmm. Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of them are saying like if they can sell it virtually, they and via WooCommerce with WordPress or with Shopify, and they're saying, hey, I have these beans. I'm doing nothing during the day. I can ship these out, and they can make a run every Friday to the post office and drop them off. I mean, so there are people thinking, all right, here's my physical business in the physical world, in the terrestrial business. How can I go about virtualizing some aspects of it? I mean, you can't pour someone the coffee and hand it to them through unfortunately, you can't do that. But you can send beans out. You can send out, for like a coffee shop, if you have a scone recipe that you love, and you might not want to give it out, but you might say, "Hey guys, it's a relatively easy scone recipe. Here's Mama Jay's, scone recipe to make while you're home since you miss it at work, when you come in here." So
Right.
it's little things, and they're all going online, trying their best
Great.
to kind of share.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, staying top of mind. So
Mhm.
that's important. That's a great way of marketing yourself right now. So,
Yes.
so, um, do you have any additional tips or resources that you can recommend, or anything, offers or opportunities that you'd like to mention before we wrap up?
Well, I mean, if anyone wants to reach out to me, just go to goldsteinmedia.com. And I am offering, depending on what your circumstances are. We're not hard and fast on pricing as much. We're like, let's say, how are you doing? Like, if you need a quick revision to your website, we can do that for a lot less because we're not. We're all in this together. That's the thing. It's not. This is something that we haven't experienced in our lifetimes. So we're trying to help out as many people as we can every Friday from 11, no, from 10 to 11 on Zoom. If you go to goldsteinmedia.com/slash office dash hours, I do a free 1 hour office hour just to help people with ideas like I'm doing right here. If they have a question about their business, come sign into Zoom. There is a password because of, crazy stuff that goes on Zoom, but you get the alerts to when they are every Friday from 10 to 11, and you just go to goldsteinmedia.com/office dash hours. And out the minute you sign up for the alerts, you get the email to the Zoom link.
Okay. Well, we'll
Come
put
say hi, keep me company.
awesome. We'll put those links in the comment section just in case anybody
Yeah,
wants to reach out to you. So,
please.
on I always like to end these on a positive note, and with that, I want to ask, what you're grateful for today, and I'll share mine. Today, I'm
Sure.
grateful for everyone that is in our community that is staying home and
Mhm.
protecting society as a whole. So, Seth, what are you grateful for today?
I'm actually grateful for my family. I mean, they're all being very supportive and they're cheering us along. I'm happy that my mom is actually up in Vermont right now, sheltering in place. They have a house down here and a house in Vermont, and they're like, well, we're on a lot more property up in Vermont. So I'm glad she's healthy and safe. Yes, as much as my kid drives me nuts, I'm glad that he's, healthy and happy. And he's honestly keeping me on my toes. Otherwise I'd be down here working nonstop. It's nice to be able to say, all right, it's 12 o'clock or it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to go up and go play with the kid for a little while. He's a
That's
good
awesome.
coworker. He's my chief distraction officer, my CDO.
Oh, I love that term. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
feel free to steal it.
well, that is definitely a great place to end. Thank you so much, Seth.
Thank you for having me.
There's a lot of great tips and information. I'm sure a lot of people will benefit from that. So, for everyone else, if you could please join us for our next interview, which is going to be this Thursday, April 9th at 11 a.m. with Michelle Keene from Voice Matters. Voice Matters is a marketing and public relations agency that serves small businesses in the area. So until then, stay home and stay healthy.
Yes.